discuss about next beta-lactam antibiotic, that is cephalosporin. So cephalosporin it is one of the semi-synthetic antibiotic which is derived from a fungus which is that is very much similar to that of an penicillin from a very different family, that is cephalosporin. So you can see the structure and how chemically this particular cephalosporin actually consists of. So the same beta-lactam ring is common in it, and this particular beta-lactam ring is fused to dihydrothiazide, which is also called as 7-amino cephalosporanic acid, and at the 7th position. And any changes at this particular 7th position of beta-lactam ring leads to either alteration in the activity. That means either if a particular cephalosporin, if it is less penetrated inside the CSF, changes or alteration in it can lead to certain increase enhancement in the activity, or it can lead to increase or decrease in its penetration. So coming to the history of this cephalosporin, so these are isolated from Cephalosporium species. So that is again the fungus, and remember that all of these are semi-synthetic compound. None of the cephalosporin drug is naturally available, like we saw or discussed about that of the penicillin. So it was first isolated from Cephalosporium acrimonium, a cephalosporin producing fungus, and it was discovered by Giuseppe Brotzu in the year 1948. So some of the important properties of cephalosporins. So yes, many of the cephalosporin, they possesses broad spectrum of activity. They are water soluble. The molecular weight of cephalosporin ranges in 400 to 450 Dalton. They are relatively stable.
Sonali, please unmute call.
They are relatively stable to pH and temperature changes. Nucleus of cephalosporin is 7-amino cephalosporinic acid. Their activity is not as a serum. As we discussed in the structure, nucleus consists of dihydrothiazide ring fused to a beta-lactam ring. And it ranges from a very narrow spectrum to a very broad spectrum. So the spectrum of activity is there. It has a wide range. And at the 7th position, at 7-amino cephalosporic acid, modifications can be done, and this modification leads to either it causes an increase in the specificity of a compound, or it may cause an increase in the enhancement of its pharmacokinetic properties. Coming to the classification of this cephalosporin, so cephalosporin are mainly classified depending upon their specificity, the antimicrobial spectrum, and also as per the year they have been synthesized. So first generation, which were introduced in the year 1960. So the parental ones, the examples are cephalothin, cefazolin, and the oral one, it includes cephalexin, cefadratin, cefadroxil. Second generation, which were introduced since 1970, the parental ones are the cefuroxime and cefoxitin. Oral examples are cefaclor, cefuroxime, axitil, cefotatin. Third generation cephalosporin. So the examples, the parental ones are cefotoxime, ceftizopamine, ceftriaxone, ceftazidamine, and cefoperazone. The oral ones, third generation cephalosporin, Examples are cefixime, cefodoxime proxetil, cefdinir, ceftibutane, ceftamate, pioxine. Fourth generation from the year 1997 to 1998, cefepime and cefeprom. And since later on, the fifth generation antimicrobial cephalosporins includes the parental one, that is ceftobiprole. So whatever the introduction of this particular cephalosporin, or whatever the classification of cephalosporin into first, second, third, fourth, and so on, it mainly depends upon its spectrum of activity. So the first generation, they are effective or more active against gram positive cocci, and they are moderately active against gram negative cocci, gram positive bacilli, and anaerobic and gram positive cocci. Coming to the second generation, activity is enhanced, or the spectrum is enhanced, spectrum of activity, where they are active against anaerobes, gram negative cocci, and gram positive bacilli. So cocci are nothing but a group of family of pathogens, which may include your staphylococcus, streptococcus. Third generation one are effective against anaerobe, gram negative cocci, and gram negative bacilli. They are moderately active against gram positive cocci and gram positive bacilli. Fourth generation one are the one which they are particularly effective against the microorganisms which are resistant to third generation. So it includes gram negative cocci which are resistant to third generation cephalosporin, and as well as gram negative bacilli. So this is how the spectrum of activity changes depending upon the different generation of cephalosporins. And at the same time, if we'll see the activity, so fourth generation of cephalosporin, they have good gram positive and gram negative activity, and they are highly or they are highly resistant against beta lactamase. Beta lactamase, again the same enzyme which we have discussed related to penicillin. So that particular beta lactamase, again because it is a beta lactam ring, again in the structure of cephalosporin, so this particular beta lactamase enzyme is also going to destroy the beta lactam ring of cephalosporin, and that becomes one of the resistance problem with the use of cephalosporin. So fourth generation one are the one which are not resistant to this particular beta lactamase. So coming to the mechanism of action, so remember the mechanism of action is same as that of an penicillin. Okay, so just we'll again recollect. So the peptidoglycan layer which we have discussed about in the MOA of that of an penicillin. So it is one of the important layer, so peptidoglycan layer, which is formed by the cross-linking polymers, particularly the by the transpeptidase, by cross-linking of glycans. Okay, and on that particular peptidoglycan, which is facilitated by transpeptidase, this PBP, that is penicillin binding protein, is present. So this particular cephalosporin, it competitively inhibits PBP as it mimics. That means it identifies structurally being similar, it goes and get binds to the PBP, and this particular binding further disrupts or it affects the cross-linking process, and ultimately the cell wall loses its strength, which results in cell lysis. So diagrammatically, you can see over here, so whatever the beta lactam drugs are there, you can see the peptidoglycan cell wall, which is formed by the cross-linking polymers of that of an transpeptidase. So this particular beta lactam drugs, they interfere with the formation of this particular peptide side chain. That means they interfere or they disrupt the cross-linking of that of an peptidoglycans, and due to that they disrupts or they damages the cell wall, and ultimately the whatever the cell wall is there, it is broken down, and the disruption of the cell takes place. So this is the same mechanism which we have seen with case of an penicillin. Same, because whatever the drug is there, it is also from the same class, that is beta-lactam antibiotic. Okay, so that is more, you can see diagrammatically that beta-lactam drugs, they bind to transpeptidase active site. Okay, so they go and get bind, they mimics the that is penicillin binding protein, and this particular binding, it results into the disruption. Okay, it results to the, or it affects the cross linking of that of an glycans or polymers, which forms the peptidoglycan. So by flowchart, that is, we can see that cephalosporin acts as transpeptidase enzyme, inhibits transpeptidation reaction, blocks peptidoglycan synthesis, and activation of autolytic enzyme. So it increases the permeability of the cell membrane due to that, and the autolysis takes place. There is lysis, and the death of the microorganism takes place. Coming to the resistance to the cephalosporin. So acquired resistance to cephalosporin can be seen or can have the same consideration which are there present for the penicillin. So any alteration, so resistance to cephalosporin might be due to these three different mechanisms. So any alteration in the target proteins, any changes in the target protein may reduce its affinity for the antibiotic. That means if structurally any changes are done in the protein binding site, this particular drug, it will be not able to go and bind to that particular extent, and ultimately that particular bacterial cell will resist by the action of that of cephalosporin. Next is impermeability or efflux. So if the drug is not getting penetrated inside the bacterial cell wall, obviously that particular bacteria will survive, or the drug will not show any effect on that particular bacteria. And at the same time, efflux, that means removal of the drug rapidly, even though it is entering, but removal of the drug rapidly by the efflux pump, where the drug is removed out, efflux pump. So due to that, the resistance to that particular cephalosporin is seen. And third one is elaboration of beta-lactamases, which destroy specific cephalosporin, particularly the cephaloporinase. So like penicillinase, here cephaloporinase. So beta-lactamase enzymes are developed by the bacteria, which are going to destroy the beta-lactam ring, which is present in the cephalosporin, and the drug or its action, it is going to get terminated. So similar resistance problem is also seen with the use of an cephalosporin as that of an penicillin. So we'll now discuss in detail about the first generation cephalosporin. So they were developed in 1960, and they have high affinity for gram-positive but weak affinity for gram-negative bacteria. And the examples of drugs are cefazolin, cephalexin, cephradine, cefadroxine. So if you see the first drug, so it is an prototype drug. Prototype means what? Cefazolin. Prototype means what? It is the first discovered drug, and this drug is considered to be prototype while investigating or while synthesizing the other drugs of other or for other generation in this case. So cefazolin is the prototype first generation cephalosporin, and it is active against most organisms like streptococci, pyrogens, gonococci, meningococci, and so on. It is also active against Klebsiella and E. coli, but it is quite susceptible to staphylococcal beta-lactamase. So this is what is its, we can say, antibacterial spectrum. By looking at its effectiveness to the to kill the different pathogens, its antibacterial spectrum can be noted. Now it can be given through intramuscular route, less painful, as well as it can be given through IV route, right? So the T half of this drug is 2 hours, and it attains high concentration in its plasma and in bile. So this is what about its pharmacokinetics. So it is one of the preferred parenteral first generation cephalosporin, especially for surgical prophylaxis. So what is surgical prophylaxis? Where this drug finds its place to be used clinically is that cefazolin is used for surgical prophylaxis, means a drug is given before the start of the surgery. So in surgery, we know that if a surgery has to be performed, doctor has to give cut to particular part, and the chances of infection in that case are increased. No doubt it is going to be stitched, but before the start of the surgery itself, this particular and many of the antibiotics are given so that the chances of infections can be minimized. Next drug, that is cephalexin. So it is an orally effective first generation cephalosporin, which is similar in spectrum to cefazolin, but it is less active against penicillinase producing Staphylococcus aureus influenza. So it is little bound to plasma proteins, and this drug it too attains high concentration in bile, and it is excreted unchanged in urine. The T half of this drug is 60 minutes, and it is also one of the most commonly used cephalosporin. You can see the dose for children and for adults. Next drug, that is cephradine, another orally active drug almost identical to cephalexin, but it is less active against some organism. And oral administration of this drug, it has caused diarrhea as side effect. So diarrhea as a side effect is common for many of the antibiotics, and it is also available in parenteral form. Another drug from first generation is cefadroxil, a close congener of cephalexin, has good tissue penetration, exerts more sustained action at the site of infection, and can be given 12 hours despite a T half of 1 hour. So it has a T half of 1 hour, but it can be given for 12 hours. So this drug, it is excreted unchanged in urine, but does not need to be reduced only if creatinine clearance is less than 50 ml per minute. The antibacterial activity of cefadroxil and indications are similar to that of an cephalexin. So these are all first generation cephalosporin. Coming to the second generation cephalosporin, so these were developed subsequent to first generation. First generation were introduced in the year 1960. This one, that is second generation cephalosporin, in the year 1970. And these are more active against gram-negative organism, right? So their activity against gram-negative organism is more, and their activity is also more against certain anaerobes. Okay, but none of the compound from second generation has an ability to inhibit that is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Clinically, they have been largely replaced by third generation. So the reason is that the resistance to most of the compounds from second generation. So clinically, they are now ineffective due to the resistance to the second generation. So examples of the drugs over here from second generation cephalosporin includes cefuroxime, azathioprine, and cefaclor. Coming to first drug from second generation, that is cefuroxime. So it is resistance to gram-negative beta-lactamases, and it has high activity against organism producing this enzyme. So it is resistance to beta-lactamase like drugs. And yes, it is also effective, or it shows significant activity against gram-positive cocci and certain anaerobes. It is well tolerated by IM route, and it attains relatively higher CSF levels. But again, this particular compound, it has been superseded by third generation. Even though it has an ability to attain good CSF level, yet it has been superseded by third generation compounds. So it is employed for the treatment of gonorrhea in a single dose when given through intramuscular route. So these are what are the marketed preparations with brand name Furoxil, Cefogen, and many. Next compound that is cefuroxime acetate, which is an ester of the previous drug that is cefuroxime, and which is effective orally. Absorption is incomplete, but yet the effectiveness of this drug when given orally is good. Cefaclor, this drug too, it retains significant activity. That means you can say it is also effective when given through oral route, and is more active as compared to first generation compounds, particularly for H. influenza, E. coli, and Miravirus. Next are the third generation cephalosporins. These compounds were introduced in 1980, so 1960, 1970, 1980, third generation, and they show augmented or enhanced activity compared to the previous generation against gram-negative enterobacteria, and some inhibit Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which was not with the case of a second generation. All of them are highly resistant to beta-lactamase from gram-negative bacteria. So second generation one, yes, they are resistant. In this case also the resistance is there, but it is somewhat lesser as compared to first generation and second generation. So there are many compounds which are used clinically even today from this particular third generation cephalosporin. It includes cefatoxime, ceftriaxone, ceftazidime, ceftriaxone, cefepiraxone, cefixime. Okay, and many of these compounds are highly effective in treating wide number of infections. So the first compound from this class, that is cefatoxime, it is the prototype of the third generation cephalosporin, and it exerts highly potent action on aerobic gram-negative bacteria as well as gram-positive bacteria. So both gram-positive as well as gram-negative bacteria are killed by this particular cefatoxime. The prominent indications of this cefatoxime includes meningitis. So it attains a good or the penetration to the CSF fluid, as it is good due to that it is used to treat meningitis. It is also used for the life-threatening resistant hospital-acquired infections. So many antibiotics are given to the patient. The resistance to many of the drug it gets developed, and in that case, this particular drug, when given, it shows promising results. Septicemia and infections in immunocompromised patients. So immunocompromised means what? One who have decreased immunity. We call them as immunocompromised patients. So AIDS, yes, that particular individual is also immunocompromised. So to treat or for the treatment of those type of an patient, this drug is found to be effective. Next drug is cefotaxime. So this particular drug, it is deacylated in the body, and whatever the metabolite which is formed, it exerts weaker but synergistic action with the parent drug. Means what? When the drug is given, it get deacetylated, it get metabolized, and that particular metabolite it exerts weaker action, but it shows synergistic action with the original drug itself, that is the parent drug itself. The plasma T-half is 1 hour, but is longer for deacetylated metabolite, permitting 12 hours process in many situations. So The metabolite, it shows weak action. The metabolism takes place, that particular metabolite is also active, and due to that the T half of the drug is also enhanced. Dose is 1 to 2 gram intramuscular or IV for 8 to 12 hours. For children it is 50 to 100 mg per kg per day. Ceftriaxone, so it is similar in antibacterial activity, an indication to that of the previous drug, that is ceftriaxone, but it inhibits B. fragilis also. That is one more added benefit of this particular drug. This drug, like ceftriaxone, it is not metabolized, and it is excreted by the kidney at a slower rate. The TF of this drug is 1.5 to 2 hours. Next drug is ceftazidime. So the most prominent feature of this third generation cephalosporin is that it is active against Pseudomonas. So the Pseudomonas type of an pathogens which are resistant to many of the second generation, first generation, that particular this drug, it is effective against those particular pathogens. So it is used specifically in the febrile neutropenic patient and with hematological malignancies, burn. So the one or many of the patients who are having certain blood-related cancer and the co-infections which are then seen in that particular patient, that are very well treated, and the patients of that of an burn are very well treated with this particular drug. The plasma T-half of this drug is 1.5 to 1.8 R. Unwanted effects of this drug includes neutropenia, that is decrease in the count of neutrophils, thrombocytopenia, that is decrease in the count of platelets, and rise in plasma transaminase and blood urea. So certain enzymes, their level is elevated, which produces certain adverse untoward effects. Next drug is ceftriaxone. Now remember that this drug is widely used. The main reason is that it has a very long duration of action. You can see that this drug, it can last, or its action can last for almost 8 hours. Sorry, the T-half of this drug is 8 hours. So due to that, once dosing, one dosing or at the most twice daily dosing is sufficient to treat wide number of infections. Next important thing about this drug is that the penetration into CSF is also quite good. So it is highly efficacious in wide or different infections, including bacterial meningitis, then multi-resistance typhoid fever. So, typhoid, for the treatment of typhoid, different antibiotics are used, and many a time what happens that patients, they become resistant to the usual drugs which are used for the treatment of typhoid. So in this case, this drug is effective against those multi-resistant typhoid fevers. Then it is used for treating urinary tract infection, any sepsis or septicemia related to abdomen. Next drug, that is cefoperazone. So like ceftazidime, it differs from other third generation. So it is also has stronger activity against Pseudomonas. It is also effective against the other pathogens, but it is more susceptible to beta-lactamases. Indications, it is used in severe urinary infection, biliary, respiratory, skin, soft tissue infection, meningitis, and septicemia. It is primarily excreted in bile. T-half, it is 2 hours. It has hypoprothrombinemic action, but does not affect the platelet function. So it causes and decrease in the platelet, or it may cause and decrease in the platelet count, but it does not affect the normal platelet function. A disulfiram like reaction with alcohol has been reported. So if used along with alcohol, it can show disulfiram like effect. Cefixime, it is also one of the widely used drug clinically. So it is orally active. It is highly active against Enterobacteria, H. influenza, and it is also resistant to many beta-lactamases. So being resistant means it is going to surely enhance the activity. But it is not active against Staphylococcus aureus, most pneumococci and Pseudomonas type of an pathogens. It also has a longer T-half as compared to the other drugs, not equal to that of an ceftriaxone, which has a T-half of 8 hours, but it also has somewhat promising or longer T-half of an 3 hours. It is used for respiratory, urinary, and biliary infections. Side effects include stool changes and diarrhea. Cefodoxime proxetil, which is also a drug which is also used widely clinically, one of the promising drug which shows highly good results in order to treat variety of infections. Next drug is cefepime. So this drug, it also has a good activity, and most importantly, if you see this drug, most respiratory pathogens, including gram-positive cocci, are susceptible. So its use, cefepime, it is particularly used if you see in conditions related to the respiratory tract, like pneumonia, bronchitis, ENT, and skin infections. Next drug is ceftibuten. So this drug, it is also next is ceftibuten from third generation, which is again which is active against both gram-positive and gram-negative. So antibacterial spectrum is also good with the use of ceftibuten. It is also indicated in most of the respiratory, urinary, and gastrointestinal infections. T-half of this drug is also quite good with 2 to 3 hours. It is given in a dose of 200 milligram VD or 400 milligram OD, either once a day or that is in 400 or in 2 divided doses of 200 milligram. Next drug, that is Ceftamed Pioxil. So it is a ester prodrug of Ceftamed. It is highly effective against gram-negative bacteria, especially Enterobacteria and N. gonorrhea. So it is used in treating respiratory, skin, soft tissue infection, etc. The fourth generation cephalosporin, developed in 1990. So this drug, if you see, they have an antibacterial spectrum similar to that of a third generation compound. But as compared to third generation, they are highly resistant to beta-lactamases. So due to that, their resistance to most of the microorganisms, it is found to be very less. Additionally, it also has an ability to inhibit Pseudomonas aeruginosa and Staphylococcus aureus. Additionally, this drug, they also have very good potency and extended spectrum. So many of the infections which are acquired through hospital, whether it might be pneumonia, whether it might be febrile neutropenia, which means there is decrease in neutrophil count with elevated temperature, bacteremia, septicemia, that are very well treated with the use of this drug. the drug from fourth generation Cefirome. So it is indicated for the treatment of serious and resistant hospital infections. The main thing about this particular drug is that it shows Zwitteron character, which permits better penetration to purine. So Zwitteron character means this drug, they have or the whatever the ions which are present in this particular in the structure of this drug, they have equal charge, both negative as well as positive. Due to that, what happens that the penetration of the drug to purine channels or gram negative bacteria, it is found to be good. It is resistance to many beta lactamases. It is not that it is not at all resistant, but it is resistance to many beta lactamases, right? Next, we'll see now adverse effects collectively of all the cephalosporin in general. So cephalosporin as such are generally well tolerated but are more toxic than penicillin. They are tolerated, but whatever the toxicity is there is more as compared to penicillin. So they have to be used very cautiously with proper monitoring. So first adverse effect of cephalosporin is pain after intramuscular injection. Then it leads to thrombophlebitis, where whatever the veins are there, that initially there is a clot at the site of an injected vein, and there that particular vein where the drug is injected, it might be get inflamed. Next is diarrhea, which is similar to that of an penicillin, where the normal flora of bacterial flora in the intestine, it is get disrupted, and due to that diarrhea is seen with the use of an cephalosporin. Hypersensitivity reactions similar to that of an penicillin. So due to protein binding of this drug, and due to that it shows many hypersensitivity reactions, but whatever the incidence is that it is low as compared to penicillin. And that particular hypersensitivity reactions may lead to rashes, anaphylaxis, angioedema, asthma, and urticaria. Then about 10% of the patient allergic to penicillin shows cross-reactivity with cephalosporin. Means what? Yesterday we saw that in whatever the drug penicillin is there, in 8 to 10% of the patient, this particular hypersensitivity reactions are seen. So if a particular drug or with a particular drug from penicillin class, if the patient shows this allergic reaction, and if we try to change the drug, or if the physician try to give that particular patient cephalosporin, same allergic reactions will be seen in that particular patient also. Okay, so patient with a history of immediate type of reaction to penicillin should not be given a cephalosporin. So that is what it tells, that there is similar reaction. Then skin tests are to be performed, and the positive Combs test occurs in many, but hemolysis is rare. Now this Combs test is a particular blood test which is used to check the type of an hypersensitivity reaction, whether a patient is allergic to that particular drug, for the patient for whom the infection is high and the drug needs to be given for long duration of time. In those patients, this test is performed. Next adverse effect is nephrotoxicity, which is highest with cephalosporin. And then later on, this particular drug, however, it was withdrawn, while other drug like cephalexin and some other drug, it shows low grade nephrotoxicity. It is not that problem, however, The drugs which used to show nephrotoxicity, anyhow, they have been, or the use has been decreased. Then bleeding is the next side effect which is seen with some of the cephalosporin. The neutropenia and thrombocytopenia, that is the next adverse effect with drug, and we have seen a disulfiram like interaction when given with alcohol that are noticed in certain patient or have been reported with certain patient, not with all the cephalosporin but with one of the drug from the family of cephalosporin, that is cefoperazone. Coming to the uses of this cephalosporin, so these are now extensively used antibiotics. They're used because they have a broad spectrum, extended spectrum, and many of the drugs are effective against wide number of pathogens, foci, and microorganisms. So that is why they are extensively used antibiotics. So they are an alternative for penicillin G, particularly in allergic patient. They are used in respiratory, urinary, and soft tissue infections. They are also effective against penicillinase producing staphylococcus infections. They are used to treat septicemia. They are used for surgical prophylaxis, as they have good penetration in the CSF. These drugs are also effective for the treatment of meningitis. So they can be used either an toll drug, or in many cases they can be used as a combination with some other class of drugs. They are also effective against gonorrhea, which is caused by penicillinase producing organism. So ceftriaxone is the choice of drug for this particular gonorrhea. Then it is used in typhoid. So some of, or if at all, some of the species of Salmonella typhi, if they are resistant to other drugs, these are resistant to other drugs which are effective in certain patients. This drug from the family of cephalosporin are also very effective in treating typhoid. And they are used for mixed aerobic anaerobic infection, which is particularly seen in cancer patient, and at the same time the patient where the colorectal surgery is performed or any obstetric complications, if at all if they occur, to treat that particular infections while that particular surgery. Here this drug they find a very important role. And yes, they are used or highly effective in treating hospital acquired infections. And they are also used as a prophylaxis and treatment of infection in neutropenic patients. So these are the different uses of this particular cephalosporins. Okay. So this is what we can say, the drugs, their specificity and route of administration, which is just again recollected. You can just go through it, where the first generation, many of them shows broad spectrum of activity. Second generation, they show extended spectrum activity. Third generation, they also show extended spectrum activity. The rest of the drugs from third and fourth generation, all of them, we can see that they have a good extended spectrum activity, and due to that, their indication in most of the infection is highly valuable and highly effective. So thank you very much.